Some major Sixers buzz on the docket for today's Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. Some major WOJ bombs on this Wednesday morning, according to WOJ, as well as his colleague, Ramona Shelburne. Daryl Morey was really working the phones going into the NBA trade deadline last week. Obviously, he made the acquisition for Buddy Hield, reaping big dividends of that move so far, as well as campaign. But Daryl Morey was going big game hunting, looking to land LeBron James and potentially Kevin Durant. How about this? Woj with more after seeing James's cryptic social media post of an hourglass a week before the trade deadline. Philadelphia 76ers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, called Rob Pelinka to probe on a LeBron James trade. He was immediately told that LeBron was not available. In fact, Pelinka responded by asking Morey if Joel Embiid was available, sources said, and that ended that brief conversation. I can only imagine how those conversations went, as this is the social media post from LeBron that we were just alluding to. Yo, Rob, it's Daryl Morey of the Philadelphia 76ers. Saw that hourglass from LeBron James, and after winning that in-season tournament, you guys have kind of stunk. Is LeBron available? Does he want to get traded? Rob, yo, Daryl, he's not available, but is Joel Embiid on the table? Because maybe we can make something work. Obviously, Daryl Morey would try to inquire about LeBron James to pair him up with Joel Embiid. And going into the deadline, this is why the conversations are always so fun, entertaining, and juicy to talk about. Plenty of speculation leading up to the deadline. And ultimately, as we know, LeBron James committed to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, as many of you real ones know who watch the show, I was in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl last week on Radio Row, and Shams Charania made that appearance on the Pat McAfee show, and he said the Lakers not really going to make any moves going into the deadline. D'Angelo Russell's been playing well. The Lakers believe that this core can potentially lead them to an NBA championship, but he said at the time that the Lakers were all in on Spencer Dinwiddie in the buyout market. Well, they got the player that they really liked in Dinwiddie, as they did sign him in the buyout market, and now the Lakers are going to see if they can make the run with the current construction of that roster. With that, let's ask you this. LeBron James is a free agent this offseason. Would you like to see LeBron in Philadelphia? Sixers have all that cap space. Honestly, I'd make a big move for about a 1-2 year contract for LeBron. It maximizes your opportunities to compete for the Larry O.B. over the next couple of years as LeBron, older, defying father time though, still playing at a high level. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. More from Woj on Daryl Morey working the phones. These sorts of bold trade calls are historically a common practice for Morey, who also called the Phoenix Suns and asked about a trade for Kevin Durant prior to the deadline. When told no, Morey then asked about the availability of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal as well. Unsurprisingly, those were rebuffed as well, sources said. Man, we know by now that Daryl Morey loves to go star hunting, and he's always going to be aggressive in a lot of these conversations. And that's like me going on Super Bowl Radio Row, and I see Aaron Andrews, I see Carissa Thompson, I see Kelly in Vegas, Charlie Arnold of Outkick, and I ask them about their availability, knowing very well that they're going to turn me down, but it's like, hey, sometimes you just have to ask because you never know when you can actually land that big fish. And for Daryl Morey, always trying to be uber aggressive in improving his roster. It's clear that in making these calls, though, and this is obviously good news, and we'll hear from Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, later this week here on 76ers Now, because I sat down with him at the Super Bowl to ask him about the Joel Embiid injury, the severity of it, what the recovery timeline is going to be. If Daryl Morey is calling about LeBron, if he's calling about Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and other star players, I think he thinks that Joel Embiid is going to be back at some point this year, because you wouldn't make these moves if you didn't think that Embiid was going to be back And if you thought that he was going to be out for the entire season and we weren't going to see him until October when the 2024-2025 season gets underway, you're not going to try to make these moves to improve this roster right now. So holding out hope, glass half full approach that Embiid is going to be back for a playoff run. Now coming up next here on 76ers. Now, Woj also reporting that the Sixers are eyeing LeBron James this offseason. Stay tuned for that. But first, this hoodie, awesome. Myself, Chase Sr., producer Chip, we copped it already because the deal too hot on these streets. This hoodie here to my right was $90, now available for just $54. How do you get in on the action? It's very easy. You use that link down below, chatsports.com/Sixers hoodie. We're going to put that link down below in the comments section as well as in the description of this video. We care about you. We want you to be swagged up, swagged out. We want you to look good and feel good, and you can do that with this Sixers hoodie, and it's almost 50% off. Get it right now, chatsports.com/Sixers hoodie. Let's get back to LeBron James here, and this isn't about this year, but it's about next year. And can you imagine LeBron James at the tail end of his career playing in the Wells Fargo Center next to Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid? From LeBron's standpoint, it's one of the better destinations that you could go to if you're trying to get that ring number 5 to inch closer to Michael Jordan's 6, right? Or is it ring number 3? 2 with Miami, 1 with Cleveland, 1 with LA. So I was right the first time. James remains focused on returning to the Lakers in the offseason, sources told ESPN, but undoubtedly there will be many of these same suitors, including the Golden State Warriors, who actually tried to land LeBron at the deadline, according to Woj, and Philadelphia, looking to convince James otherwise. The teams with the most projected cap space going into next year, if you're a LeBron James, if you're a big-ticket free agent, and you're looking to go to a team that's going to give you a bag, but then has the remaining dollars to improve elsewhere on that roster, you're not going to compete and make a championship run with Detroit. The same can be said for the Orlando Magic, even though they've improved a little bit this year. The Toronto Raptors, you don't want to go to Canada. And the Utah Jazz, LeBron is good there. Now, I think he's going to stick with the Los Angeles Lakers because they're always aggressive in trying to improve the roster. They always have championship aspirations and championship chances. And for LeBron, now that he's like full go in the entertainment industry, staying in LA, in Hollywood, the mecca for entertainment, that just allows him to pursue his basketball interests and then his interests off the court. But from a basketball sense and a financial sense here, you could chase a championship with Philadelphia, most cap space in the NBA. You can't do that with these other teams who are equipped with a lot of money. Now, they might overpay for some B-level stars and overpay those players and convince them to come if you're just seeking to get that bag. Another big report here, though, from Mark Stein that at least 2 teams believe that LeBron would sign with them if they draft Bronny James. And the drafting of Bronny James has been a rumor in NBA circles for a really, really long time because LeBron wants to play with Bronny before his career is all said and done. So if you're the Sixers and you don't even think Bronny James is worthy of a first-round pick, but in drafting him, you take a shot on a player with some upside, and then you know it lands you LeBron James, I'm doing it even though I don't think Bronny could be a first-round pick because those end-of-the-first-round selections, how often do they pan out? You get a Tyrese Maxey who's ended up being a star, but that's rare, and that's few and far between. I'm taking a chance on Bronny and hoping that he can be a rotation piece at some point, but I'm doing it because I'm trying to lure his father, LeBron James, to Philadelphia. Here's Mark Stein. I know of at least 2 teams in the NBA on that NBA map that believe LeBron James would consider signing with them at far less than $51.4 million. If Bronny James is on the roster, there might be more. I need to be on the floor with my boy. I got to be on the floor with Bronny. That's what LeBron James said. And then furthermore, either in the same uniform or a matchup against him, I don't mean like guarding one another all game because he's a point guard and at this point now, I'm playing center or whatever the team needs for me. But I would love to do the whole Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. thing. That would be ideal for sure. And LeBron does have a $51.4 million player option this offseason. Lakers could exercise that if LeBron wants to go back. Mutual agreement there most likely. Or LeBron could go somewhere else if a team is willing to pay him somewhere in that neighborhood. And it really is incredible how LeBron continues to play so well. And I'm going to brag a little bit here. LeBron James entered the league in 2003, and when you saw his identity and skill set as a basketball player early on, I had said, I think LeBron, because him taking care of his body, but also because of his positional versatility, he's going to be able to play in the league for a really, really long time because even when he's older, he has the size and strength to play in the front court. Won't always have to play on the wing or handle the basketball. We're kind of seeing that. LeBron even said it. Like, I could play center or whatever the team wants of me. He's now in his late 30s, and he's still putting up these numbers, and he's still been a pretty durable player. He's about to overtake his amount of games played last year, and this year, he's still giving you 25, 7, 8, and 52% from the field. So if you're the Sixers and you know you have Joel Embiid, you have Tyrese Maxey, those are your two stars. You don't need LeBron to give you 40 minutes per night. He could play multiple positions, and even if he's giving you 27 and 7, 50% from the floor and 37% from three, winning playmaker, that moves the needle as far as your championship chances. Should the Sixers sign the king this offseason? S for sign, P for pass. Let's hear from you, and give us a follow here. I'm on X at Chase_Senior. Producer Chip is really the mover and shaker of this show as well. Give him a follow at Jake Chipper. Love to hear from all Sixers fans out there because we're bringing you some heater content right here on the show.